One bold decision can define a match, and sometimes a player's entire night. For Brentford's Dango Ouattara, that moment arrived during a dramatic FA Cup penalty shootout against West Ham. Instead of blasting his spot kick into the corner, the 24-year-old attempted a daring Panenka, a delicate chip straight down the middle. But the gamble didn't pay off. West Ham goalkeeper Alphonse Areola stood his ground and simply caught the softly lifted effort, turning what could have been a moment of brilliance into the only missed penalty of the shootout. Within seconds, Brentford's hopes of reaching the FA Cup quarter-finals disappeared, while West Ham celebrated their place in the last 8. The match itself had been full of twists. Jarrod Bowen looked set to guide West Ham to victory after scoring twice, but Brentford striker Igor Thiago refused to let the game slip away. He equalized on both occasions, forcing the contest into penalties after a thrilling 2-2 draw. Despite Brentford naming a strong lineup, it was a rotated West Ham side that eventually held their nerve from the spot. After the game, Brentford boss Keith Andrews was quick to defend Ouattara's decision. He insisted he had no frustration with the forward, praising the courage it takes to step up in such a high-pressure situation. Andrews explained that Ouattara regularly practices the technique and pointed out that if the attempt had worked, the reaction would have been completely different. Former West Ham attacker Joe Cole also reflected on the moment during TNT's broadcast. Cole said Ouattara looked calm and confident during his run-up, but admitted a missed penalty in a shootout tends to overshadow everything else a player did well during the game. Ex-Tottenham midfielder Glenn Hoddle had a slightly different view. He felt the long pause before the strike suggested the young forward may have been overthinking his decision, something that can easily affect any penalty taker. But the failed attempt has also sparked discussion about the famous technique itself. The Panenka penalty takes its name from Czech midfielder Antonin Panenka. He introduced the now iconic chip during the 1976 European Championship final between Czechoslovakia and West Germany. With the match tied after extra time, the title was decided by penalties. After Germany's Uli Hoeneß blasted his attempt over the bar, Panenka stepped up with the chance to win the tournament. Instead of hitting the ball with power, he gently lifted it down the center of the goal as goalkeeper Sepp Maier dived away, sealing the trophy and creating one of football's most memorable moments. Although Panenka had used the trick before for his club Bohemians, that daring strike in the European Championship final introduced the move to the football world. Since then, the technique has been adopted by many of the game's biggest stars. Players such as Lionel Messi, Thierry Henry, and Francesco Totti have all successfully pulled off the move, while Zinedine Zidane famously used it in the 2006 World Cup final against Italy, his chipped effort bouncing off the crossbar and over the line. England fans may remember another iconic example from Euro 2012, when Italy's Andrea Pirlo coolly chipped Joe Hart during a penalty shootout, dramatically shifting the momentum in his team's favor. Despite the drama attached to the Panenka, statistics suggest shooting down the middle is actually one of the most effective ways to score a penalty. Historical data from the World Cup and European Championships shows that around 84% of penalties aimed centrally end up in the net, higher than attempts placed to either corner. Former Swansea and Bristol City striker Lee Trundle believes the move is often judged unfairly when it goes wrong. He argues that a saved Panenka should be treated the same as any other missed penalty. After all, if the goalkeeper guesses the right way and saves a powerful strike, the result is exactly the same. Still, when the delicate chip fails, criticism tends to be harsher. Football has seen its share of high-profile Panenka mistakes. Gary Lineker once missed one for England against Brazil in 1992 while chasing Sir Bobby Charlton's goal record. Sergio Aguero also suffered embarrassment in 2021 when Chelsea goalkeeper Edouard Mendy saved his attempted chip for Manchester City. More recently, Brahim Diaz tried the same technique in stoppage time during the Africa Cup of Nations final, only for his effort to be saved as Senegal went on to lift the trophy. For Dango Ouattara, the miss will undoubtedly sting. But the history of football shows one thing very clearly: the Panenka is always a risk. When it works, it becomes a moment of genius. When it doesn't, it becomes the moment everyone remembers.